This is Slave Pits of the Undercity on Elite. Alright, well the first thing I'm going to mention here is that I'm a little underpowered right now for this quest. This quest is tougher than most other level 8s on Elite. You know, the gear, a lot of our gear is under level. That's why we're running this quest to try to get some upgrades to our gear. So I definitely don't think I should be running this on Elite right now. We'll try to muddle through. I expect to have some wipes, and when that happens, I'm just going to re-enter the quest and finish it off.
As you enter the room,
But that'll
a
give me an
woman
idea.
wearing a
That'll help me,
noble's finery gestures for you to approach.
you know, assess
Dame
things.
Gold points to the door at the rear of the chamber. The path beyond the service entrance will lead you to the abandoned temple. The slavers have set up an outpost there. Somewhere inside, I'd expect you'll find the information you need to track the slave lords back to their lair. Dame Gold's eyes narrow, and you hear the sound of steel in her voice. When you find them, I expect you to destroy them. All of them. The path leads to an ancient wall. The symbol of the slave lords hangs above the crumbling gateway. A poorly disguised secret door can be seen at the rear of this alcove.
So one of the challenges I'm going to have is trapping, and it's especially difficult since a lot of the trapping. There we go. So let me put my hireling in place. Run through the middle of that one. That one's usually safe. Let me get my disable item on. I was blowing trap boxes in hard, so I'm a little worried about this, but I think if I remember to get my disabling item on, I should be okay. Unfortunately, I'm not, even with my plus 10 spot item, I'm not seeing him here, and that's not totally unusual. All right, let me see if I can draw these guys back. Whoop, snare, not good, not good. Almost done. All right, let's get drawn back here. There we go. And so trapping should be a big advantage, and I think it normally is. I mean, we're doing pretty well on the traps overall, but we're not even seeing them here. And I think, you know, getting a few things can be done. You know, part of the problem is that this particular quest, the traps have higher DCs for both for spotting, searching, and disabling. So that's a big part of it. But yeah, it's very helpful when I could actually. Well, I'm just gonna have to try to shoot this guy down because I don't want to step in those traps. All right, so. Yeah, it's very challenging in this quest because a lot of the traps are, in addition to being dangerous, enemies run into them and set them off. Not this particular one, but some of the plates or whatever. There you go. At least that one you can't blow up. Some of the plates that have elemental damage, the enemies set them off, and then players near that trap also take damage.
door here appears to have been destroyed, then hastily repaired.
So we're past that. Unfortunately, the trapping is just a problem we're going to have to deal with. So the main thing we have to deal with here is champions. What was that? Trap. And I was going to say, the most deadly thing potentially for us is exactly this. It is a trap. All right, so I'm going to put this on there. This is another one that's probably around here. Unfortunately, not having that spot is a huge issue, and that's to be expected. We didn't take maximum ranks in spot. But what I'm going to try to do is, whenever possible, is draw back the enemies. It's going to be slow. I sort of knew this going in. I just wanted to get an idea. Whoa, pressure plate. One, going into this, I knew this was going to be tough, and I knew this was going to be a especially difficult part of it. And you can see I'm failing on a 5, but it doesn't blow it up. Success on a 13. So if we get to a box, I'm going to probably be using my success on a 13. Wow. Alright, so let me get this plate. $16. Alright, so I'm going to call my hireling over to heal me. So there's often traps there, and I'm going to try to fight these melees here behind this wall so the casters and the archers can't get to me. And again, let's see. Oh, my hireling's not getting in a trap, so that's a good sign. In place, and you can see this is just going to be slow because if I could spot the traps it would be a lot quicker, but that's part of the trade-off I made, was to have a little bit of a lower spot. But even if I had a max spot, this particular quest chain might be difficult. Anyhow,
this room stinks of vinegar, fire, and rot. The odor pours from a large mound of smoldering compost in the center of the floor.
just gonna peek around here because I know there's some guys. I'm just gonna try to drag these guys back here.
The air grows chill in the graveyard. The plants sway gently, even though there is no wind. The sound of a door opening can be heard in the distance.
Okay, again, because I don't know if these this is trapped or not. I'm gonna pull these guys back here. And you can see some of them are dying in their own traps. So that's helping us know where the traps are. And thinning the herd, so. Alright, well, let me get my hireling back here. Oh, nope. Alright, so I think they probably revealed all of them. You can see this kind of plus shape pattern is a common pattern for these. Let me get my goggles on. So yeah, in a critical failure, it blows up on you. But luckily we have evasion, so that'll help against most of the things. And I don't think one pressure plate will kill us for poison. All right. The other option is we could just jump around these. This is very time consuming, so I think I'm going to do that. I'm just going to go around it. Call my hireling. I guess we could use this shrine. So let me just snared. Yeah, this is going to be a very long quest because we're going to get all the optionals for the chest, so that over doubles the length of the quest. If you skip the optionals, it's not too bad. Let me just get these ones on the edge here. So if we need to get around here, if we need to re-enter and get around, we can.
The staircase descends several floors, ending in a dank tunnel carved into the earth. The foul stench of troglodytes permeates the air.
There's a patrolling spider back there, but it doesn't look like anything noticed me as I went in this side cave. This is not required for quest completion. It's just for the optional chest, and of course we're going for all the 4 optional chests here. That's part of what's going to... Okay, I'm going to
The
go back,
horrifying
drop
stink
back.
of the
That's yellow
troglodytes
alert.
grows heavier as you
Let's
approach.
get back here quick. Alright, use a boost for this. Yellow alert just tells you there's a lot of people involved. A lot of enemies coming. Alright, there's an evoker. So one option with him is just bow and arrow. They're getting a little closer. Now I could use a sword. You can see a lot of magic missiles coming. I've still got some time on that. Alright, now I'm just going to try to get all these evokers. Vorians do a lot of extra damage, so I want to get him first. And then we want to be careful because there's a mob on the other side that I don't want to activate until we clear this mob. sword is still pretty good DPS against skeletons despite the damage reduction, so I'm just going to stick with it. Just going to park my hireling here now. I'm going to kind of go into the left here because you can see there's a bunch of mobs there. I'm just going to avoid that fight. If you kind of stick to the left and don't aggro those mobs, make sure your hireling doesn't charge them by putting them on standing ground. You could just loot this chest and go without fighting another kind of big mob. And 11, that's a pretty good number. And of course, that's huge when you're a little underpowered for the quest as we are right now. So I think we can handle most level 8 elites, but this one is just a little tougher. And if our trapping skills were a little better, it would make it a little bit easier. But our trapping skills are good, but we're just a little underpowered for this particular quest. All right. Still got some time on my shield quickie. I better renew that actually. Alright, let's see this patrolling guy. Alright, here they come. We could try to kind of draw them back here a little bit. Woo. Just get behind here so the casters have to come to us. You know, Faden's no match for these casters here. We're a little better able to handle casters than she is. Pretty heavy damage. You can see I'm taking a little bit of damage here. Alright, now I need to get Faden up before I move forward. I was gonna use the lay on hands. I really like to save it, so I just decided I'm gonna go ahead and save it. Let me put her on passive real quick so I could heal her with the wand. And so generally, I don't like to run quests when I'm underpowered for it. But you know, in this case, I wanted to see how I could do on Elite to see what I'd want to do in terms of, you know, farming. And I think I've already answered that question. I don't want to farm it on Elite. I don't have the trapping skills, but I do want to, you know, I do want to just complete the quest now that I started it. What I might do is skip the other optionals and just go for the completion, or try to get the easier optionals. More spiders coming up here. Oh, an evoker, so let's get these spiders around the corner. We could take many of these out, or we weaken them before the evokers start hammering us with damage. You saw what the evokers did damage-wise. And this champion exterminator is doing quite a bit of damage to us. Okay, here comes the evokers. Luckily I've got my shield on, that's preventing a lot of damage. Oh, and I need to get Fade to do her best now. Alright, I'm going to put the cleric right here. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to activate them and bring them back over this way. Mr. Remnant. Ooh, 61, nice. Let's get Faden over here. So now we're getting most of the melee types by coming backwards. And we've already made pretty good dents. So spiders and melees, and now you can see the casters and range are usually behind, so that's what kind of divide and conquer makes it just a little bit easier for us, since we're a little underpowered for it. Yeah, another reason to avoid fighting here is if you run too close to this cave, a bunch of stuff comes out. And there it is. And these guys surprisingly hit pretty hard. You know, rats, they don't look dangerous, but these guys can hit pretty hard. I mean, I've seen people die in this fight more than one time. We're going to set up camp right here, and I'm going to try to drag us. This room is pretty tough, and I think in the hard mode, I just charged a room, which is fine. I mean, I can get away with that.
This
There we go.
chamber is uncomfortably warm.
I want to get just half
The
of the
air is
room this
rank
time.
with the smell of rotting garbage.
It's a pretty tough room with these rust monsters. I was using my blue shine weapon there. Look, rat. Alright, let's... Hopefully my armor didn't take too much of a beating there. Yeah, it did. So I'm a little worried about my armor breaking in this quest from the rust monsters. And there's some more, so... if that happens, I'll probably actually go do repairs and come back. Alright, so let's get them in. Let's put all of our haste, melee, clickies, everything. Right? And if we get pretty much any armor in a chest, we can probably just use that. Alright, so let's see how my armor did. Alright, not too bad. That might be enough to get me through the quest. Alright, and yeah, of course, one thing that makes this a little bit harder compared to Reapers is no spell point drops. So that was one of the things that I really liked, or like about Reaper. And alright, let's get this fight done. This opens up the shrine. Alright, and I'm going to just go for this one chest. I probably shouldn't, but we have a res shrine here if we need it. Alright, I'm going to pull back to about here. And these guys are mega tough because
These tunnels look like they collapsed recently.
If I get lucky, we get just one. That would be nice. As long as the hireling cleric can keep me healed, then I mean I should be able to survive the knockdown. Oh, this is the kind of CC that they do. This sort of that gaze makes it hard. Another knockdown. All right, let me see. All right, it's one down. Try to get one more down, then it's just a one Umber Hulk fight. And that guy's a champion too, so I think that should be a champion chest. Yeah, that sort of CC where they kind of stun you and knock you down, that's what makes them so tough. We got a champion chest out of it. Alright, 12 mysterious remnants. And let's see, did I get any armor in there in case my armor breaks? Nope, if my armor breaks, I'm just going to have to go recall and come back in. Again, you can see it's getting pretty worn there. I'm down to 10. I sort of, the armor's getting a little dated for the level now. Alright, I'll grab this and grab this. We're going to have to shrine. Shrine here. And again, this part is kind of like the other parts. The annoying thing is the trap, so I'm going to kind of set up a little spot right here to try to draw the undead back to. The archers won't move, so I'm just going to activate them. Come back here. Here comes the casters. Alright, so now the question is, do we have any traps? Let's see, did I get any light armor drop for me? Nope. That would have been nice, since my armor looks like it's about to break. Alright, so I'm just going to see if I jump. Alright, no traps. All my hireling over. Get her to heal me first. Alright, I use my use my human versatility boost there to whoop, let me get my thing on. See those traps. Get my potions in too. Yeah, one's not so bad. What makes these bad is when you're running over it and you hit 6 or 7, that's what kills people. And I've seen enemies run over it and kill people a lot of times as well. I'm just going to peek around the corner and see what we have with skeletons. A lot of skeletons. I don't really see any champions. So I'm just going to go over there fully prepped here, and I'm going to hireling. And we are going to just start smacking these guys down. And you can see my armor broke here. You know, even though there's no deaths or anything, it's just part of it was the rust monster, but part of it was just the sheer amount of arrows and things, damage I was taking. So that's kind of common with, you know, it's a level 4 item. I'm running a level 8 quest on Elite, which is level 10. So I just, you know, my gear is a little out of date for this. So I am going to recall, do quick repairs, and then go in again. Not worried about the XP penalty. We're already almost maxed on XP for the level, but I need to, you know, I need to have my armor. So I'm gonna do that and go right back in. We have up to 5 minutes. You know, and as I said in the beginning of the quest, I expected this. I knew my gear was a little bit out of the level for what I'm, you know, for what I'm doing here. So no problem. So let's see if there's let's see if there's a tavern I could maybe recharge at. So I'm hoping that'll be enough to get me through the quest, but I'll get some chests. So if I get any sort of armor I can wear, then that's fine. But I've sort of noticed this armor is wearing out pretty quick now, and that's just, you know, kind of par for the course when you have under the level gear, it wears out quicker. I do really like this armor, so one of the things I want to do is get one of the things I want to do is get a hardening thing on there to make it take less damage and to make it last longer, but that's a few levels before I'll have access to that. Yeah, one nice thing about this dungeon, whoops, there's a trap I missed, is there's not really respawns. We do have to worry about some of these traps. I think that's the only trap I didn't disable besides the platelets coming up. So, I mean, you know, there won't be any respawns. It's possible you might come across something you missed the first time, but generally not, since we're not kind of running through the dungeon super fast. going to set up a spot right there because I want to draw these zombies back. The archers do quite a bit of damage, as you've seen, and they actually wore out my armor. I was taking so many arrows. So we'll fight these zombies back here, and then make a run for the skeletons. Alright, I'm going to try, I don't think my sneak is good enough, but I'm going to try sneaking, see if I can disable the trap. Up to that point, I was taking kind of small steps forward because I wasn't convinced there was no traps here, and my spot's not good enough to see them. So, all right. Well, I've got more oozes here. Unfortunately, I'm hoping that's not going to break my armor, but if it is, I'm just going to do what I did before. I'm just going to recall out, repair, and come back in. I should have soon a better set of armor for this quest. Okay, that wasn't too bad. My armor, I think the rust monsters do a number on it, and then the archers do a number on it. And there's two more optional chests I'm just going to skip. I'm just going to go for the two that we're going to get by just finishing the quest, because I think I've already answered the question, which I actually knew before I ran it, which is, you know, should I run this thing on Elite? Okay, sure, we can finish on, we can complete it on Elite. We haven't had any deaths yet. Take it really slow. But I'd rather get less mats and run on hard and be able to do it faster to run it on Elite. Having to go this slow, and we're not even doing the optional chest, and it's pretty slow. And my hireling might be out of spell points by the time I get there. Okay, so I'm gonna run down here. serious magic missile damage there. Alright, well, another trap spot here, so I'm gonna bring them down here again. Boom, CC'd. I'm probably have to use my boost. These ogres hit really, really hard. Alright, doesn't seem like they set up any traps. That's a good sign. Wonder what's down there. I'm gonna go down there just because I've never been down there before. And nope, was hoping there might be a shrine down there. I never noticed, but so we want to make sure we stay away from the common wall. There we go. There's an optional chest in there we're going to skip just because we've sort of already answered our question. We've got two of the optional chests, and we sort of answered the question about whether or not it makes sense to run an elite. Alright, so I'm going to park my hireling out here so my hireling doesn't die. And you can see I can't turn these tiles until I activate this. And I do want to do this puzzle because I want that chest. Alright, and I'm going to put my hireling right here. Because as long as I don't activate these red spots, I'm okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is make sure these red spots are turned so that in no way, shape, or form will they ever be activated. And you can see I'm going a little bit slower than I did on hard when I did this puzzle because, well, it's more deadly on elite. And just another precaution, I'm going to kind of solve it backwards as opposed to forwards. Alright, it's a lot of damage. Alright, so let's wait till the next one procs. Try not to waste my hireling spell points on this because we'll need them for the end fight. But I also tend to get a little greedy in trying to get as many tiles as turned as possible. Alright, and we get 2 more traps to do, and I've got 3 clickies left for traps, so I forget exactly where it is, but I don't want to get caught in the middle of it. Get my hireling out here just in case. Well, that's bad if I can't find this trap. Alright, one more try on this with my heroism potion and with this. And with this. Alright, that's going to be the best I could do. Okay, got it. I'm going to sneak for the next one. Get the hireling up to about here. And I only got 1 shot, 1 clicky left for the next one, so I think I just have 1 shot at it. Pretty sure it's right past that torch. Alright, I'm going to try now. Alright, got it. So that's good, just barely enough. Now I'm going to try to draw these guys back. Actually, further if I can. Alright, now I'm going to run back to this room. Don't know if they'll stop sign way back here, but if we can find them back here, that'd be great. Again, we're a little, whenever we're overmatched, we try to give ourselves whatever advantage we can. And these are a lot of champions here. Tough melees. Alright, I got 1 champion down. The cruelty guy's got to go down next. Remnant. I'm doing the same thing there. I'm going to try to see if I can pull them back. They might stop sign, but we'll at least know that they do, if that's the case. This is probably far enough here. Definitely get this champion. These demon souls are tough. Alright, now I can see that I'm starting to take some serious archer damage. So I'm going to go back here a little bit and see if I can draw some back some more. Alright, so it's all marksmen's now. No more melee, so gonna charge. Right for this guy, champion. He's the one doing all the damage. hireling's getting really low on spell points now. Hopefully it's enough for the end fight.
The slave lord looks you over. Yes, you'll fetch a fine price once you're properly broken. Guards, take them alive if you can. If not, well, it'll be a complete loss.
Want to get these wargs first because they do the knockdown. Pretty tough. Oh boy, that's bad. Alright, get this Ravager. Wargs, rather. Alright, let's see if we can get a heal real quick. Alright. Gonna run around here a little. Alright, this guy's gotta go. Need my hireling to focus on healing. Alright, still the work, so let's get to work. Lay on hands. I'm hoping the hireling will get me. Nope. Looks like I missed this guy. Alright, one more. And he's almost out of spell points, so I'm going to go up here. Alright, call my hireling up here. I'm going to bow this guy a little bit. I need my hireling to kind of stay here and stand his ground. DPS is terrible, but I'm avoiding some damage. And then there's going to be some wolves that come.
The slave lord grunts.
When you see this, there's going to be some wargs coming.
I have other ways of dealing with the likes of you.
Let's get these guys first. Now we're just one-on-one with this guy. Yeah, it's pretty hard, but I've got my lay on hands and my heals. My heal's better now, so you can see I'm doing a decent amount, and I've got some heals for my hireling. Lay on hands.
The slave lord crumbles into a lifeless heap. Now
but
to search
we did
for
it.
clues to the
No deaths
location of
even.
the other slavers.
So don't re-entered, but no deaths. Alright, so I'm going to finish this thing first so I don't forget.
The manifest describes a keep some distance from here. This fortress seems to play a major role in the slave trade. More clues about the slave lords can doubtless be found there.
Chains, which I like. We could use another one of those. We got this symbol of the slave lord. It gives us Insightful Con +2, True Seeing Dusk. I like everything about that. So that's probably going to be our trinket. True Seeing is really, really great. So by running this on Elite, we got a really nice named item here. I don't see not using this. True Seeing, Insightful Con, and Dusk gives me 10% chance less to hit. My spot's not really working so well anyways. That's the only thing the trinket's giving me is spot. So I'm going to switch that on immediately. Loot. And now I'm going to run the quest on hard, and it's just rinse and repeat, literally. So I don't see much benefit in recording just a rinse and repeat of hards. But I did want to run this one in elite, and just, as I suspected at the beginning of the video, we're a little bit underpowered, but we still got through it with no deaths. Took a while, 60 minutes, so quite a while, but we got through it. So that is Slave Pits of the Undercity on elite when severely underpowered.